Hello everyone, welcome to the Microsoft Fabric Practical Implementation Series. This is our fourth video where we demonstrate an end-to-end scenario using Microsoft Fabric to guide the launch of a new business. I'm Easy E of Murdoch Martin Consulting, where we make cloud technology easy. If you're not familiar with Microsoft Fabric, the data engineering experience is where you'll design, build, and operate systems for managing large volumes of data. Today, we're going to start working with pipelines to ingest data from external sources. Some of the challenges typically faced are non-standard data formats, scalability, and structuring our raw data lakehouse to simplify incremental loads into our enriched layer. Our case study is an organization called Upcycle Build. Upcycle Build is launching a data platform as the foundation for their business. In our previous video, we started working with notebooks and data frames. We built a calendar dimension to address time series calculations. In that notebook, we introduced parameters so that we can add additional months to our calendar from an orchestrated pipeline. This video will start working with pipelines and build on the concept of parameters. Construction data will be coming from the Business Permit Survey from the U.S. Census Bureau, usually released on the 17th workday of each month. One of the objectives of our pipeline is to schedule the pipeline to run each month without any manual intervention. We also need to accommodate a one-time load to ingest data from prior years. We need the data ingestion to be able to run efficiently and to be able to load incrementally, and we want to prepare for situations where we may need to reload data to correct for anomalies. In reviewing the data available, there are a few challenges that we'll need to address. The data format is mostly consistent across time, but there are some changes in the source data format. Data is published on a website that we can access anonymously, but the data is stored in an older version of Excel, which is not enabled in Microsoft Fabric out of the box. We could manually upload the file each month, save as an XLS file, and manually upload to the data lake, but let's find a better solution. The data in the Excel spreadsheets use two different tabs. We don't have a typical table that has the header in the first row and a bunch of rows neatly aligned, and the field names contain spaces and special characters. Fabric doesn't like that. So let's begin by logging in as a data engineer. I created a few rules for where I want to land the data. The data will be in my lakehouse in original source format, organized by data category and source, and I'm going to append the pipeline run ID to the file names to provide traceability in case I have support issues. So the first thing I'll do is create my parameters. Parameters are defined are passed to the beginning of my pipeline and don't change through the duration of an individual run. Variables, on the other hand, I can create those and change during each run and change that based upon the logic. First thing I'm also going to do is think about the big picture logic that I'm going to use within my pipeline. In this case, I want to do a condition that is if the month is all month, I'm going to have a different set of logic for processing all of the months within a year versus the months individually. My if condition is built using the pipeline expression builder, and it's fairly simple using an equals all, and then I'm looking at the value of the parameters that were passed. So here is my first copy statement, and what I'm going to do is use the connection. Now in this case, I've already created the connection. For the first time, you'll use new, and we're going to use an HTTP connection. And then in terms of the relative URL, based upon that individual scenario, then I'll use the expression builder to define the name of my source file, and then make sure that I'm using the binary format. If I'm going to do any processing of that, then I would want to use a REST format, and that's going to be a little bit slower. And really what I want to do is store the files in the original format. So HTTP binary copy is the most efficient way of doing that. For my destination, I'll use the expression builder to point it to the right path. And I will also be able to define the name of the file to be created. In this case, what I'm doing is I'm appending the run ID from the pipeline at the end of the file name so that I have a nice set of files that will include both the name of the file as well as the run ID that created the file. In our next video, we'll talk a little bit more about how to parse this unusual Excel file and store that in an appropriate format. But for this particular video, we're going to stop here. I've inactivated these two steps within the pipeline, and now I can run the pipeline by hitting the save or the run command. It's going to ask me to save that before it actually runs, and it will bring up the list of the parameters files. So but on this one, I'll just say we're going to use the year and the month, and go ahead and just hit the OK. What you'll see as it starts to run, we'll see the output, and the run has run successful command. So in this one, the copy, you can see the size of the source file, the size of the destination file, and how long it took to actually do the copy command. And that concludes the preliminary steps for our data ingestion pipeline. We created rules for organizing our data in the lakehouse. We used the pipeline to copy the data in binary format from an external website using HTTP. And we used parameters to control the logic of our pipeline and to include the pipeline run ID as part of the target file name. There are lots of different ways for getting data into a Fabric lakehouse. If this is not the method ideal for your situation, check out the link before for other options. Stay tuned for our next episode where we work with files in Excel, Parquet, and CSV formats. In particular, we'll be focusing around Excel, looking at old versions of Excel, working with multiple worksheets, and dealing with non-standard Excel formats.